Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Haley Estes. For those that don't know me, I blog at themountainviewcottage.net where I share farmhouse-inspired DIY decor and organization videos. And today we are diving back into my Introduction to Furniture Painting course, and we are going to be painting another piece of furniture in milk paint. Several videos from the series, I showed you how to get a really beautiful, chippy, rustic distress look using milk paint, which is the easiest way to achieve it, in my opinion, is with milk paint. But today, I'm going to help you get a very full coverage appearance with your milk paint application. Milk paint is finicky. If you've ever used it, you may have run into the fact that it over chipped or it didn't adhere to the furniture at all. And those are things that I myself had struggled with milk paint. So I'm going to show you some of my foolproof methods to really get a full coverage appearance without ending up with a piece of furniture that's overly chippy and distressed if that's not what you're looking for. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Thank you so much for watching. To begin today, I'm going to show you how I prep this furniture for a really solid full coverage milk paint application. Using my DeWalt orbital sander, which I love, I really do recommend this exact sander. I have used several different sanders and a few of them have died on me, but this one is the one that remains and works the best. So I'm going to use an 80 grit sanding pad that will hook onto the bottom of my orbital sander, and I'm really going to sand away the finish of this dresser. This dresser is the perfect piece for painting something with milk paint where I'm looking for a really solid finish because it already has a very dull texture. The problem that you run into with milk paint is if you have anything with any sort of a shine or a top coat, that is where the paint will begin to chip and kind of distress away on its own. And if you're looking for a full coverage appearance, that's not what you're going for. We are really going to give this a heavy duty sand job without losing any of the details, and I'm going to start with my orbital sander. You can now see the contrast from the sanded top versus the bottom that's not been sanded yet. It has a very dull texture. Typically I would go in with a finer grit sanding pad after this just to make things smoother, but I am not going to this time because I really want it rough so that it's going to hold on to that paint really well. For the first time in this series, I'm also going to be replacing the hardware, so I'm going to go ahead and take all of these knobs off, and since they're not going to go back on the drawer, I will go ahead and just put them in a plastic bag so I can probably just donate them or get rid of them, because I don't foresee me using them in the future. Corners, because if I don't, the orbital sander will kind of round this out and it'll look funny and it will mess up the wood. Now I'm going to come over here and sand this drawer. It does have a curved front, so sometimes that makes me leery of sanding it with my orbital sander, but it is mild enough that I feel like it won't be destroyed when I use my orbital sander. So we're going to go ahead and just sand this down so it's nice and rough. A little trick is to prop your orbital sander up on the edge and then get down in these little crevices or these curves better. So that is how I'm going to completely finish sanding this first drawer. I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing on the other 3 drawers, but I wanted to kind of show you a couple things. I took the keyhole metal piece out. This just makes it so much easier to paint and to sand, and then I'll glue it back in with wood glue when I'm done. And I also, since I'm going to be changing out the hardware on this dresser, I really sanded this little hole where the hardware will go, because I don't want there to be an indentation from where the old hardware was when I put the new hardware in, because I'm not so sure that it will be covered. So if you are switching out the hardware, make sure that you really sand out the indentions from the previous hardware. There is a sheen on this dresser, and the entire purpose of me sanding is to sand that sheen away. I'm really not trying to get the entire stain sanded away, even though that's kind of what's happening. I really am just looking for that sheen to be removed. Where the sheen is still intact is where the milk paint will probably end up chipping, and I'm just really just sanding all that away. So it's really rough, but that's okay because it will be the perfect medium for applying the milk paint. So you can see here the little keyhole. I'm just going to use my screwdriver to gently pop it out. And then I'll save these and I can put them right back in when I'm done. Go over the top one more time with my orbital sander because I feel like it's still a little squeaky and shiny, which I don't want. Now it's time to sand all of these areas I couldn't reach with my orbital sander. I actually have a sanding pad over my foam sanding block, and this is going to help me really get down to the bones of this dresser and get that whole top layer and the polyurethane coat off. Gloves on to protect my skin from the chemicals, and I'm going to use this sander deglosser to do the final sanding for me for this piece. So I'm just going to kind of saturate my towel, which is an old rag, and then I'm going to rub the entire surface and really finish cleaning. This will get all the dust particles up. I actually did blow all the dust off before doing this. I would suggest doing that. And then this will further degloss the entire surface. And it's going to get into those little areas that your sanding tools missed. So that is the purpose of this step. I especially like it for areas like this detailed edge where it's kind of beveled. That's so hard to get into with your sanding tools. So this makes that so much simpler. past this rag now. I'm not gonna use it again. But that is how you apply the deglosser. I'm just gonna let that dry and then I will go in and paint later. That is how I prep a dresser that I want to get a very solid milk paint finish on. As you can see, it did take a little more prep work than some of the other pieces I've already shared in this series, but if those are the results that you're looking for a very full coverage feel, you're going to want to really take the time to prep it right, and then you're going to have a beautiful finish when you're done. In my next video, we will get to painting and I will show you how to get a very solid painted finish using milk paint and some of the products I use with it to make that happen. Thank you guys so much for watching.